everybody, and welcome. Joe Scott here with HigherHertz.com, and welcome to another episode of How to Play the 5-String Banjo. But before we get started, please make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, click that little bell for notifications for when we release future videos. We'd love to keep in touch with you. So, yeah, let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about proper 5-string banjo techniques. We're going to cover everything from how to sit with the instrument, how to stand with the instrument, how to hold the instrument. Just make sure you're getting off to a good start here, which will help you to learn this crazy instrument. For starters, let's talk about how to hold the banjo. So as you can see, I'm sitting at the moment and I've got the banjo comfortably in my lap. However, I highly recommend to go ahead, if you haven't done so already, and get a strap for your instrument. The strap is super important for a number of reasons. The most obvious is you can stand up and play the instrument. But you even want to use your strap when you're sitting down. You certainly don't have to, but it helps to hold the instrument steady and hold it in place. The banjo is an interesting instrument. It's not like a guitar that straddles your leg. It's kind of round, so you have to hold it still while you're learning to play it. So the strap is one of the best ways to do this. So if you notice, I'm sitting. I've got the banjo here, the strap, the length. You know, as you can see, the top of the banjo comes to about the middle of my chest area here, and that's good for starters. And then if you notice the angle here, it's not quite a 45, but maybe just perhaps a little below. And this can vary. This isn't like written in stone. You have to do it this way. But in order to get the right attack for your right hand on the strings and just a comfortable playing position, this is a good starting point. So again, sitting, banjo securely, the strap's got it just about there. If you don't have a strap, don't worry. You can still sit in a regular chair and rest it on your lap. But as soon as you can get a strap, please do. I think you'll see a big difference in making it easier to handle the banjo. So yeah, sitting, angle of the banjo about here. And by having the banjo about here, and then with your right hand, this is going to help your right hand to assume its position. And what I want you to do, and this opening is very, very important, okay? So with your right hand, you just want to have it like so, all right? And then what I'm going to have you do, if you notice, not all banjos have this, but many do. This bar right here, this is actually an armrest, okay? And that's just kind of shows you where you want to put your arm. And so what I do is, a good starting point is you come down, you rest your hand on the armrest, and then for the moment, just simply let your hand collapse. Just let it relax like so. So you got your arm here, you let it relax. And believe it or not, that's actually almost the playing position that you want for your right hand. Now this is going to vary a little bit depending whether you're finger picking, using a flat pick, or using your fingers, and we're going to go over that in a minute. But just as a good general starting point, you approach the armrest, the arm, it's about the middle of your forearm area here. You approach, just let your hand break and relax. So if you are using finger picks, and again, in a moment, we're going to get into this in more detail. You're going to mount, I always rest my pinky and my ring finger, but for sure the pinky back here by the bridge. This is the bridge of the instrument. And you just touch the head. You don't push down, you just touch the head, okay? And by doing that, if you notice that where my hand is, how it's the break like that, and just very relaxed. And what this has done by having the neck at the angle and having your hand like this, it's put your fingers square onto the strings for a better sound and better technique. So that's the basic right hand. And at first, you don't even have to play anything. You can just sit with your instrument and practice just this. And the whole time when you're doing this, try to relax, especially your right hand and your entire arm, okay? That's super important now, and it's going to be really important later as you're learning to pick. And as you're getting faster and faster, it's important that this arm stay very relaxed, okay? So that's a good starting point for the right hand. For the left hand, I want you to think of your left hand like a clamp. You don't grab the neck of the banjo or any string instrument like a baseball bat or a shovel. You know, you don't grab it like this. What I want you to do is first we're going to open your hand like so, and I want you to just touch the back of the neck of your banjo with your thumb. And then I want you to curl your fingers around. And you noticed how my wrist is down? That's very important to have a wrist. I call that a broken wrist. You don't want it up here. That's not good. You want it to just curl around, all the while touching the back of the neck with your thumb and curling your fingers and curling your wrist. That's super important as well, because that's going to free up your fingers so they can float effortlessly over the fingerboard of the banjo. Thumb here, fingers curled around, right hand, boom, boom, touching. And now you look like a real banjo player. So just take note of how everything looks. My arms are relaxed, things are mounted, just sitting here very comfortably. Now, a big thing whenever you're learning any instrument for that matter, but on the 5-string banjo, is we're only going to work on one hand at a time. And the reason we're going to do that in the beginning is because this is so much new information for you. And chances are you haven't used your hands this way. The best way to go about this process is to work on the hands individually, starting with the right hand, then incorporating the left hand, and then over time putting them together. This will be a lot less frustrating, I believe, than it's like, okay, what is my right hand going to do? Oh, now what is my left hand going to be doing? Because in the beginning, it can be a bit overwhelming or a bit confusing. I'm sitting with the strap holding the banjo like so. This is the same as standing. In other words, I'm going to stand up, but you don't have to change a thing. So even standing, it's the same, all right? The banjo's going to stay the same. As I approach the instrument, it's going to be the same. My right hand's going to break over the strings. My left hand's going to curl under, and you're going to have free reign of your hand. Your thumb's going to be behind the neck. You'll notice most banjo players most likely will be standing if they're doing a concert or a jam session or whatever. But for practicing, teaching, when you're in a lesson or whatever, sitting is just fine. So there are different techniques for playing the 5-string banjo. And I'm going to start with the most basic one, and that is with your right hand, and that is just using your thumb to strum the instrument. What I want you to do, once we're in the proper position, we're holding the banjo right, we're in the right position, we're comfortable, I want you to do that same thing where you bring your arm around, and all we're going to do initially is simply strum straight down with the thumb. And you can just brush all 5 strings. Okay, just very relaxed. All right, and just let that start to feel comfortable and normal to you, okay? And you can strum down or you can strum up. Down, up, down, up. And initially, I just want you to do this as it starts to feel good under your fingers. And if you notice my right hand, my wrist is supple, it's just floating, okay? I'm still touching the armrest back here. So that's if you're just going to use your thumb, all right? The next basic technique is with what we call a flat pick. And the flat pick is what everybody, guitarists, bass players use them sometimes as opposed to their fingers, and banjo players can use them as well. With the flat pick, you simply hold it between your index finger and your thumb, and you want about, that much of the pick, poking through. But if you notice, my thumb is that way and my index finger is directly behind it. And you can, as we were saying earlier, you can anchor your pinky and your ring finger on the head of the banjo near the bridge. And the flat pick's going to give the sound a much more defined, a much more crisp and sharp sound. And you can strum down, up on that as well. And you have to hold onto the pick just firm enough so it doesn't fall out of your fingers when you're using it. Don't clamp like you're trying to flatten the pick. It's already very flat. You want to relax with the pick as well. You can't hold it too loose, it'll go flying, but you just want firm enough to keep it in your fingers. And then just do the same thing as you were doing with your thumb. Simply just up and down. Okay, that's the flat pick. So we've had your thumb, we've had the flat pick. A lot with 5-string banjo is primarily used in bluegrass and Celtic music and country music, and typically that style is a little different. That is what's known as the 3-finger style, pioneered by banjo player Earl Scruggs. He was one of the first pickers to use a plastic thumb pick. You can buy these online or at any music store. The one I use is a Dunlop. And you just place that on your finger like so. The round part goes over the top of the thumb. The flat part goes on the bottom of the thumb like so. And that acts as a flat pick as well. So you can just use the thumb pick and your fingers as we get into learning picking patterns. Or you can strum with your thumb as well. So initially here, it would be nice to just have you just try to pick each string, no particular order or sequence. You're just getting comfortable with hitting strings. Okay, that's your thumb. Then we're going to add in 2 metal finger picks. These are the metal finger picks. They are made out of like a nickel alloy. And one goes on your index finger like so, oops, and the other one goes on your middle finger like so. And they go on like that with the flat part on the bottom of the fingers, okay, and then the curved part over the top of the fingers. And you want about, you know, like that. You just want a little bit sticking past the end of your fingers. And you want them real comfortable as they wrap around there. You can bend these to fit your own fingers. The thing with finger picks is they help give you a very crisp, defined sound. Okay, so if you're choosing to learn with finger picks like this, because you want to learn the 3-finger bluegrass country style, as you're getting set here, do everything we talked about, approaching the instrument, being proper, touching the head with your pinky, and then just practice, you know, picking random strings with each fingers. It doesn't matter what strings or, okay, and don't hit too hard. If you hit too hard, it doesn't sound very good. It sounds kind of harsh. You just want an even tone. Okay? And notice I'm picking up with the index and middle, or finger number 1 and finger number 2, and down with the thumb. And that's pretty much always how you're going to do it when you're using picks. Okay, so to review, we have the 3-finger style with the 3 picks. All right, you can use just the thumb pick with just your fingers if you don't want to use the metal picks. Then the other technique was with a flat, traditional flat pick. You hold that between your thumb and your index, and then strum up and down. All right. And then all the way back to the most basic, no picks at all, just using your fingers to strum or to pick. All right? So for this lesson, I just really want you to spend time sitting or standing with your instrument, relaxing. Remember, relaxing, so important. Just getting into that space where you're holding the instrument properly, your hands are on the fingerboard properly and on the banjo itself properly. You're relaxed and you're ready to learn your first song. So thanks for tuning in, and if you've not done so already, please subscribe to the channel on the little subscribe button. Also, there's the little bell. If you click on the little bell, you'll get notifications for future videos that we release. So we'd love to keep in touch with you. We'd also love to hear your comments. So in the comment section, please feel free to leave a comment on what you think of the video, future things you'd like to learn, subjects you'd like me to cover, and we'd be happy to do that for you as well. We'd also love to encourage you to share this video. So remember, practice, 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 and I look forward to seeing you at the next 5-string banjo lesson.